And joining me now is Andrew Simpson. He's the CEO of Heart Sciences. Maybe give us a bit of an overview of Heart Sciences.
We've been working to advance the ECG. Everybody's heard of the ECG, or in the US it's called an EKG. But people think of it as a screening tool for heart disease, but actually it's an incredibly poor tool because it misses most forms of heart disease. So we've been applying advanced science and artificial intelligence to the ECG to make it a much more valuable screening tool, particularly in a frontline environment, so that it would be able to pick up heart disease.
Maybe talk a bit about the technology and how that works.
So it's quite simple, really. When you have an EKG, you take the electrical signal from the heart, and the normal display you see is just really a voltage signal over time. So, imagine sticking a voltmeter in your house. It's a very simple technology. We take that electrical signal, and then we basically extract thousands and thousands of extra data points from that electrical signal. And that's why you need to use artificial intelligence, is to analyze those data points. And then essentially you're able to pick up much more forms of heart disease than a conventional ECG would.
So, Andrew, would this be used in a hospital setting, or would this be used in when you go for a heart test and things like that, or is it a combination of both?
It could be anywhere, but look, if you go to a cardiologist, he's got MRI scanners, CT scanners, he's got a range of imaging equipment. Where the ECG would be most valuable is in frontline environments where the primary care physician doesn't have a test to tell you if you've got heart disease. So why does everybody know of somebody who's had a heart attack unexpectedly or even died unexpectedly? It's because there's no test in the front line. So this can be used in any frontline environment. Now, that could be primary care, it could be Walmart Health, it could be the ER room, it could be your endocrinologist if you're diabetic. Think of anywhere that heart testing would be valuable in really a pre-cardiology environment. And look, yeah, there's estimates of 1 billion ECG tests undertaken around the world every year. In the US, there's more than 100 million. So, this is, and already there's enormous ECG testing, but it doesn't have a lot of value today, or has less value than it should.
Where are you at as far as FDA clearance is concerned? And for people who don't know, the right over your shoulder is the actual unit itself. So tell me where you're at for FDA clearance on this.
We basically are a class 2 non-significant risk medical device. But because we're doing something new that the FDA's never seen before, we go through a de novo pathway, which just means it's a bit longer. You're doing something new. So we put in an application to the FDA in 2020. About half of companies don't get through first time around, but it meant we got a very, very narrow pipeline of things to work on, which we've been doing. So we're very close to resubmitting, which means we would be expecting a clearance, in the next 12 months.
So what can people expect now in 2023 is, you mentioned you're obviously working on that FDA clearance. So what's the plan for this year?
Obviously, our prime goal and our prime objective is regulatory clearance in the US FDA clearance. That from an investor perspective, or a company perspective, is really the main thing. But last year you saw that we announced a major collaboration with the Rutgers University Health System to collaborate on AI algorithm development, because there's absolutely indisputable evidence now that you can do more with an ECG. So doing that, we announced some more fundamental patents. We'd expect to announce more patents this year. And we've also been upgrading our CE capabilities in Europe.